I bear the Germans a grudge for having made a mistake about Kant and his backstairs philosophy, as I call it. He viewed Kant's philosophy as fundamentally religious, even if Kant himself eschewed religious language. Where does the back door of Kant's philosophy lead to? Back to Christianity, and more specifically, Protestantism. Among Germans, I am immediately understood when I say that philosophy is ruined by the blood of theologians. The Protestant minister is the grandfather of German philosophy. As we've discussed more in detail in our video on the Renaissance, Nietzsche held Protestantism responsible for keeping Christianity alive. In Nietzsche's view of history, the Italian Renaissance was a European event which was preparing the eventual destruction of Christianity, even going so far as infiltrating the highest office in Christianity, the papacy. The Renaissance popes of this period were men of the world, corrupt by Christian standards, but life-affirming by Nietzsche's standards. The return to a Hellenic, Greek mode of living, an embrace of life force and nature, a move away from the Christian ascetic morality, was the beginning of the end for Christianity. The corruption of the Catholic Church is only corruption from the Christian point of view. From Nietzsche's perspective, it was a return of life and will. But this destruction was postponed by a German monk named Martin Luther, who kickstarted the Protestant Reformation. Ironically, by attacking the church, he saved it. By creating a schism in Christianity, Luther saved Christianity. The Protestant Reformation and the resultant Counter-Reformation forced a new kind of piety on Europe, a sort of arms race of religious fervor. Protestantism forced the Catholic Church to take a step back and reel in the corruption. It thereby extended the life of the Church, and if not for Luther, the Church would have either died or become so transformed, in a good way, as to become unrecognizable. At least, that is Nietzsche's view of history. And of course, to Nietzsche's great chagrin, it just had to be a German who saved Christianity. Martin Luther saved Christianity, and a few centuries later, when belief in God was ready to die down again, another German saved the Christian ideal once more, Immanuel Kant. With his backstairs philosophy, the Christian worldview was once again vindicated. To Nietzsche's eyes, it seems like Christianity just won't go away. It always finds its way back to European consciousness, be it through renewed religious fervor in the case of Luther, or through a philosophy like Kant's, which is not explicitly Christian in nature, but which espouses the same ideals nonetheless. And it always finds its way back to Europe through Germans. As he laments in The Antichrist, "If we shall never be able to get rid of Christianity, the Germans will be to blame." Like so many aspects of Nietzsche's philosophy, all roads lead back to Christianity. His dislike of the German people is ultimately founded in their embrace of Christianity, Protestantism in particular, and the theologian's blood that runs through them, as he calls it. Going a level deeper, this propensity of the Germans to embrace frigid systems like Protestantism and the particular way in which they practice philosophy have their roots in the cold, boring, and sunless climate of Germany. How climate influences a people's culture and philosophy is a major theme in Beyond Good and Evil. Nietzsche himself had his most productive years either high up in the Swiss Alps during summer or on the Italian coast and in southern France. He saw it as no coincidence that the French have better literature, and it was no coincidence either that the anti-Christian Renaissance started in Italy and was cut short by a German. The stereotypes that influenced Nietzsche in his thinking, the boring cold north versus the playful hot south, continue to exist today. To this day, Northern Europe is Protestant and Southern Europe is Catholic. We can take a deeper look at Nietzsche's views on climate and how it influences philosophy and culture in a future video if there is enough interest. If you want to see that video, please tell us so in the comments. I'll leave you with the following quote that appears at the end of Nietzsche's Antichrist. It's also no coincidence that he ends this work, this great manifesto against Christianity, with an attack on the Germans. Ultimately, both are intertwined. The Germans keep Christianity alive, and that is their greatest sin. I confess it, these Germans are my enemies. For almost 1000 years now, they have tangled and confused everything they have laid their hands on. They have on their conscience all the half measures, all the 3/8 measures of which Europe is sick. They also have the most unclean, the most incurable, and the most irrefutable kind of Christianity, Protestantism, on their conscience. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And also leave a comment for the algorithm, it really helps out a great deal. Also, a big thank you goes out to our patrons who keep this channel alive. Check out the link in the description if you want to support us as well.